Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay. This is Coloring Bliss, and today we're going to talk about blending our color pencils. Now, I've done videos in the past where we've talked about how to help you blend, specifically one called Jennifer's Rule of Blending Thirds. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description below so that if you want to learn more about how to blend color pencils without using any additives, solvents, mediums, nothing, that video will help you with that particular skill of blending color pencils. But in this video today, I want to talk about a product that I want to try adding to the blend to see if it will help the color pencils blend and do more of a painterly effect. So before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming giveaway. Now, don't fast forward. You need to get your entry in for this giveaway because this giveaway is worth $340 and you have a limited time to get your entries in. We're giving away basically 4 things in this prize package to one of you lucky winners. The first thing is the full set of Caran Luminance pencils. And to go along with that, I'm including the 12 Derwent Lightfast pencils that we chose to make our blending trios perfect with the Luminance pencils. If you want to know more about why I chose these 12 pencils and how this system works, check out the video in the description that we filmed last week. It will help you with understanding that. And then I've included this little pencil roll. It's called a Niji roll, and it will hold 36 pencils, all 36 that I suggest you use when coloring with the Luminance and Derwent Lightfast pencils. So follow the link, get your entries in. The giveaway ends January 25th, and we will be announcing the winner via email January 26th. So good luck to everyone. I'll talk a little bit about this giveaway again at the end of the video. But now let's get into this new product that I'm going to try with blending our color pencils. In front of me, I have a very large box full of products that I have tried and experimented with to blend my color pencils. There are a lot of products available online that are actually made for this purpose, like the Zest It brush and pencil products, and then there's also products like the blender pens by Derwent. So there's a lot of options out there, but there's also things that you can probably find in your own house right now that you could try. So that would include things like a Vaseline type product. I like to use Aquaphor in my house, so that's why I have this one right here. It's basically petroleum based product that you can mix in with your pencils. I also have a baby oil here, which is basically mineral oil, and it works well too as a blender. And rubbing alcohol, that's another product that you can usually find around your house to try to use as a solvent and help you with the blending of your color pencils. So I've used a couple words there in my description of this box. One of them was the word solvent. Solvent is a product that we use to help dissolve and change the way that the color pencil acts on the paper. One of my most favorite solvents to use is Gamsol or Odorless Mineral Spirits. Gamsol is the brand name, so you don't necessarily have to get the brand. It's Odorless Mineral Spirits. This is used by artists all over to work with all different kinds of art mediums. So it's a real legit art product, and it works really good at dissolving and solvent type action with your color pencils. I'll demonstrate it to you here in just a minute. Now, some of these products aren't necessarily a solvent. It's not breaking down and dissolving the product. They are more of an additive or a medium that we can use with our color pencils. Those types of products would be like the baby oil, the Aquaphor, and this new product that I'm going to try today I think falls into that category. And this is what has brought us all here today. This is Unscented Paraffin Oil. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on what the ingredients are inside color pencils because I was hoping to unlock something like this that we could try and use as an additive or a medium in our coloring. And this is what I've landed on trying. Paraffin oil is a really versatile oil. It comes in a wax form that's a solid, or you can get it in this oil liquid form as well. Either way, oil or wax, paraffin is used in a lot of our products. Health and beauty products, art products, it's everywhere. So it's very widely used and easy to get your hands on. This little bottle here, which is 4 ounces, was about $11 on Amazon. And it's sort of like a medical grade paraffin oil. You can get this on your fingers and it's not going to hurt you. This particular product was being advertised to use in those paraffin baths where you heat up the paraffin solid pellets, add a little bit of this oil so that it stays liquefied, and then you dip your hand in it and pull it out, and that warm waxy oil helps soothe your hands and helps your skin be more soft. That's where this came from. But I want to try using it in our art. So what I'm going to do is some coloring experiments. Let's start by getting some color pencil onto the paper. I'm going to be using our combination Luminance and Derwent Lightfast pencils that we are giving away for the giveaway as the pencils we'll use. But these products that I've just showed you here in this box and this paraffin oil can be used with almost any brand of color pencil, and it should give us a interesting effect. At least that's what I hope and what we're going to find out. Is paraffin oil the magic serum that we've always wanted and needed for blending our color pencils? Let's find out. On this paper, I'm going to be setting up 5 different tests using my Luminance and Lightfast pencils. The top test is going to be all about just a bunch of layers of color pencils laid down. How can these products blend them together and make them look better, or does it make them look worse? The next one is light to dark. I want to try to create a nice transition between dark and light pressure, and we'll see how the products do that. Next up is color mixing. We're going to do yellow and blue and see if we can create green, and just how nice of a gradient will that create. Fourth, I want to test and see how well we can get rid of the white of the paper. I've laid down some pencil from heavy pressure to light pressure, and let's see how these products perform. And finally, I want to try pre-treating the paper with these products to see if there's any other different effect we can create by doing that. Let's get testing. Okay, so we've got everything laid down. We're ready to run some tests. We'll talk about each product a little bit and what you can use to do these tests as we go along. Let me grab a paper towel so I'm ready for any kind of messes. First up, we're going to talk about Odorless Mineral Spirits. Now, that's this product right here, and I highly recommend you read the health and safety type warnings that are on this bottle. Basically, what you need to know is that just because this says it's odorless doesn't mean it's putting off some sort of fumes. So use it in a well-ventilated room. Don't leave this out so that pets or children can get into it. This is a serious art product for adults, so make sure you use it accordingly. I'm going to take a small amount of this Odorless Mineral Spirits and put it in this little cute cup. Now, I keep a lot of these products, like the rubbing alcohol and the Gamsol, in these cute little dropper bottles. Makes it a lot easier to handle and keep the mess clean, and I don't have to dip into these big bottles every time I want to try something out. So I'm going to take my Gamsol, or my Odorless Mineral Spirits, and put some in the bottom of this cup. Keep those together. Now, as far as applying these products to the paper, there's lots of different things you can try. Even just down to a piece of tissue or paper towel can work as well. I've got some common ones that I like to use. A nice little paintbrush, just a all-purpose paintbrush. Smaller in detail is usually best. And then I've got a blending stump here, which is basically compressed paper in the shape of a pencil, and then they sharpen it to a point on the end. So that's another really good tool to use. And then you can just use something simple like a cotton bud if you want to as well. Okay, so for this, I think we'll use a paintbrush and see how this works out. So 3 layers of color pencil. Typically when you're working with Odorless Mineral Spirits and some of these other products, you want to lay down quite a lot of product just so that you can activate it and there'll be something there to activate, especially if you're working with a lower quality color pencil. Those have less pigment and more fillers. And what's happening here with this solvent is it's going to break down or dissolve the waxes and the fillers and sort of leave behind the pigments. So we'll take our brush, dip it in here, and I'm just going to go gently over this. It does not take much odorless mineral spirits to get things activated. And if you're mixing colors like down here, you want to use even less odorless mineral spirits because you don't want to have everything turn and then all of a sudden it's very liquidy and everything goes to a muddy color. Okay, that's the OMS. So I'll bring it up here and you can see what it looked like before and now after we've applied it. Next up, we want to try the rubbing alcohol. So I'm going to do the same thing, put a little tiny bit into a cup. We'll keep this cup separate so we remember that's OMS and this one is rubbing alcohol, although you can smell it and you'll be able to know the difference, but we don't want to be sniffing these substances. Okay, let's see how rubbing alcohol performs. I used a very small amount again and I'm just agitating it so that the alcohol, the solvent can get in there and break down the waxes and do its job. Okay, that's rubbing alcohol. Okay, next up is Aquaphor. And this I'm going to apply with, let's do it with a cotton bud. I'm just going to pull out a tiny bit. This stuff is so thick, hard to get it going. And again, you don't need a lot. Okay, so I have just a small amount of the Aquaphor on the cotton bud. And the idea again here, instead of it being a solvent that is breaking down the ingredients of the pencil here, it's sort of mixing itself in. Okay, I'm just gonna blend that in. And then we'll leave it be to see what it does. Now let's try baby oil. Same thing here. Just going to use a small amount. And I'm probably going to need another cup. Let me go get that. All right. Put a little in here. Oh, it got everywhere. Okay, I don't think it will affect things too much. Okay, we'll use a little bit of the baby oil and perform the same test. That seemed to work a little better than the Aquaphor and faster. And now we're coming in for the reason that we are here, and that is the paraffin. So let me get a little cup for our paraffin. Let's put a little bit of this inside this cup here. I've put a very small amount of the unscented paraffin oil into this cup, and we have a cotton swab here. So this is the first time I've used this paraffin and I'm so excited to see what it's going to do. Oh, here we go. You can hear Rose snoring. All right, it worked very similar to the baby oil. It'll be interesting to see how it dries on the paper, because that's one issue I have with these two products here, is it can leave a sticky residue that dries kind of slow. It actually doesn't dry, it sort of cures. So I'm hoping this will be easier. But right now, it did a really good job, really fast, and we'll let that color sit and set and cure, and then we'll see how we feel about the different results. Okay, let's move on to the next experiment, which is seeing if we can create a gradient using these products from light to dark or dark to light, however you want to look at it. So I'm going to go through with all of the different steps and all of our products that I have lined out here in front of me, and let's see if I can create a gradient. All right, I just finished test number 2, and I'm quite surprised by the result. So far, I'm really loving the baby oil and the paraffin. And the paraffin worked even better than the baby oil as far as pulling that color out and creating that gradient. Let's see how it acts as it's drying. It's going to take some time to dry. Now let's move on to color mixing and see what we can create. If we can get a beautiful green, can we get a good gradient from yellow, green to blue? Let's see. At this point, I decided to switch away from the paintbrush that I was using for the Odorless Mineral Spirits and the rubbing alcohol to the blending stumps. I'm hoping I can have a little bit more control with the way it's being applied. I must say I'm quite surprised at what is happening here on my paper. The paraffin and the baby oil are working really well, better than I expected. In fact, I had to be careful not to back up too much here because the colors would just take over the yellow. Where over here with our Aquaphor and the alcohol and the Odorless Mineral Spirits, I was having trouble getting them to do much. All of them have done something, but not as good as the baby oil and the paraffin oil. Very interesting. All right, let's try to get rid of the white of the paper. And I think I'm going to try to see how much I can move this around like a paint as I'm working with this particular test. Let's start with Odorless Mineral Spirits. This color I chose to use for test 4 is called Derwent Red, and it's a highly pigmented, very strong color. So it was really a good one to use to test this particular step out, where I want to just get rid of the white of the paper and fill in an area with color. Can I control the color? All those questions I have about all of these different solvents and mediums. All right, we've got test 4 done, and again, I am really surprised at how this is all coming out. Odorless Mineral Spirits is one of my absolute favorite products to use for these purposes, and it's coming in not the best. It works really well when there's lots of layers written down on the paper, but when you get down to just one layer, it's struggling. And look at how far the paraffin oil was able to move that pigment around. Really cool. And when I touch it, there's no oily residue. Baby oil maybe has a bit of oily residue. This is the Aquaphor. It definitely has some residue. We'll see how they feel up here after they've been drying for a while. Very interesting. Okay, next trick we want to try is this right here, where we want to pre-treat the area with the different product and then color on top of it and see how it works. Let's go for a pretty orange color for this. Okay, so we're going to start with Odorless Mineral Spirits. I'll grab my... Actually, let's use the paintbrush for this. And not a lot, just a little on the brush. Paint it out, and then a hurrying color on top and see if I feel a difference. I definitely feel a difference. I'm only doing medium pressure, and it looks like I'm doing heavy pressure. Let me do it down here. That's the pressure that I did right here, and you can see that it really blended out as I worked and got rid of the white. So pre-treating, it's had some time to dry. Let's see. Not quite as good as when it's wet, but that works really well. Pre-treating is a win for Gamsol or Odorless Mineral Spirits. Okay, let's try rubbing alcohol and see what it does. Not too much. Pre-treat the area and hurry and come in and start coloring. Oh, again, it just medium pressure and we're getting beautiful coverage. Let me do a sample here off of the pre-treated area so you can see the difference. Really big difference. Now with Aquaphor, what I typically do is I will take my pencil. Well, really what I do is I take a small amount of the Aquaphor and put it on the back of my hand like that. And then I touch into the Aquaphor with my pencil and then start to color. And when it starts to not blend out as much as what I want it to, I go back to my finger and I touch in again and get some more. That way you can color and it looks like you're doing heavy burnishing pressure, but actually all you're doing is medium type pressure, and the Aquaphor is doing its job as a medium to mix in and help release all of that product. Okay, so let's try pre-treating the area now. I've got a bit of clean, we'll just pre-treat it. A thin layer of Aquaphor on the paper and then come on top of it. Again, it works so good. That is so awesome. What you do need to do is clean off the tip of your pencils though, because you don't want that Aquaphor to sit there and break down or sort of mushify that tip. So just clean it off like that and you're back to coloring with a standard plain pencil. All right, now baby oil. We're going to treat this here with a little baby oil. That would be this little jar. See if I've got a clean cotton swab. Maybe I can pull that blue off. Oh, that works. Okay. Dip in there. That was a lot. Pre-treat. And color. So smooth. All of these are working really well. Really well. Okay, now let's see how well the paraffin oil will work. Get a clean cotton bud, or relatively clean, and dip in here and apply the paraffin. I think it's a thinner product than the baby oil. Wow, that worked amazing. Same pressure right there. Wow. I am really impressed. Really impressed. Let's turn it over and see what's going on in the back. You can see where the different bits of solvents and mediums were added. So we definitely need to give it some time to dry. Maybe I'll hit it with a blow dryer and be right back. All right, I'm back. I used a blow dryer to try to help dry some of this, but like I said, an oily type product like the Aquaphor, the paraffin, and the baby oil, it's more of a curing that has to happen, so that's just going to take some time. But what I can tell you is that The only ones that feel sticky out of those three mediums, the Aquaphor, baby oil, and paraffin, is the Aquaphor. It's staying a little bit sticky, where the others feel almost dry. So that's really encouraging. Now, one reason I don't like using baby oil is because it smells. And you can get the unscented, but even then they still have added, at least the ones I've smelled, there's a little bit of a smell, and it's a smell that my headaches don't like. It's a trigger. So I've avoided baby oil in the past, and that's why I was excited about the unscented paraffin oil, because one, I know it's an ingredient in a lot of different color pencils. Paraffin is. Two, it's safe for getting touched. If you touch it and manipulate it on your fingers a little bit, it's not going to hurt anything. In fact, it might help, kind of like the Aquaphor. And three, I was hoping it would be a little bit more of a art quality type product that we could use, where baby oil, we're not too sure how that's going to affect the pencil that we've laid down years to come. We know that Odorless Mineral Spirit is a great product and it's used by a lot of artists successfully. But now it's really interesting. I've always been an Odorless Mineral Spirit girl, but I'm kind of seeing that alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, might be better. It's a cheaper alternative, a safer alternative. It still has its risks that you have to be careful of when you're using it. Where over here with paraffin oil, that product there did a lot of things that the alcohol couldn't do, because it's mixing in and creating a more painterly type thing, where the alcohol is a solvent and it breaks things down and dissolves things. So it's two different actions happening. Which one would I recommend out of all 5 that we tried? I'm kind of leaning towards the alcohol and the paraffin. If you need a solvent, you want to try a solvent that will dissolve and evaporate into the air quickly, rubbing alcohol might be the one to reach for. If you need something that it's going to mix in and sort of give you a paint type effect, I would recommend the paraffin oil, followed by the baby oil, because that worked really well too. Very interesting. I'm going to put a link to this particular unscented paraffin oil, but I only chose it because it was quickly available to me. It was a medical grade and the price wasn't too overwhelming, and I wanted just a small bottle because you're not going to need a lot. Not a big jug of this. All you need is a tiny little bottle. But you can choose whichever product you would like to try, but I highly recommend trying paraffin oil. I'm surprised. And maybe next time when I would have reached for Odorless Mineral Spirits, I'll reach for rubbing alcohol or my new friend, unscented paraffin oil. Can't wait to try it with other things like crayons, ooh, or oil pastels. Ooh, lots to try with this new product. Very cool. Well, that was a very interesting experiment, and it makes me want to try other products like this paraffin oil to see if there's something that would work even better. Comment below. Are you excited to try paraffin oil? Is there another product you would like to try and see if it works? I've heard coconut oil works. I've heard that even olive oil works. Maybe we need to follow up with this video and try some more really strange products to see if they work as a solvent or a medium with our color pencils. Comment below if you'd like that. And don't forget to follow the link in the video description. I'm giving away a prize package worth $340 to celebrate the beginning of the new year. And in that prize package, one of you will win a full set of Caran Luminance pencils. These beauties are amazing. I can't wait for one of you to get it. I'm also including the 12 Derwent Lightfast pencils to complete your 36 color set of tritones that combine these two beautiful pencil products into one. So you'll have a ton of beautiful options between this and your Luminance pencils. And I'm also including a pencil roll called the Niji roll so that you can put those 36 pencils together and have them for quick access. So good luck everyone with your entrance into the giveaway. Remember that it ends January 25th, 2023, and the winner will be announced via email January 26th, 2023. And if you found any value to this video, you learned anything about color pencils, make sure you take a moment right now to hit that like button to let YouTube know that you enjoyed this video. Thanks everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye!